Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Let's see. Let me move everything around. Today I'm using the new Roblox Studio build. So it looks quite nice. Um, I'm very glad with the current iconography. Originally, back when I was in focus groups a while back, they were using these very like wireframey ones, and I couldn't see them that well because my vision isn't that great. Though I'm wearing contacts today, so it's actually okay right now. But yeah, so I really like this current version of it. Yeah, the just can't wait for them to unlock the the customization ribbon and stuff. But yeah, so let's see. Today, okay, so look at this little call stack area right here. This hierarchy. We have an editor service, which will have a character selection, which will have a character editor, which will have an identity selection, which will have an identity editor, which will have an appearance selection, which will have an appearance editor, which will have an appearance editor scene. Realistically, I'm probably going to break it up into smaller subsections, but it's still very funny to look at right now. Probably the first one would be the. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna make a UI folder, and we're just gonna drag everything over from that. So I think we should leave some of these together. Uh, what's my favorite country? Um, it's kind of a weird question. I really like the high-speed rail system in Japan. Uh, I don't know. A lot of directions you could go with that. Hey there, Eric. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Okay, so move the appearance editor. Uh, the appearance selection. Okay, so now identity selection with the identity editor. Okay, okay, that's good. I'd heard that the um, I'd heard that the movie hadn't gotten super high reviews, so I'm glad to see that it's the fans are still liking it. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna move all these over. Um, okay, so character selection. All right. So let's get this going. Will Superhero Life 2 be taken down for the remake? So the current plan is that it will be replacing it. However, the original will be made open source so that people can still have just so it doesn't become like lost media or anything, you know? Yeah, so don't worry about that. Um, it's good. I was worried that they were gonna kind of spoil Wolverine's legacy with because I think Logan was just such a great ending. You know, I was a bit shocked to see him coming back for this. Felt like such a clear like no, don't come back from this, you know? Um, but yeah, hey, I'm glad that it was good. Really? Okay, okay. I will admit I didn't necessarily like the Fox X-Men universe too much. So I guess one good movie doesn't offset for years of character issues. Um, yeah, so yeah, I'm glad to see that Deadpool seems to be a good upgrade to it. It's all the customization stuff will bring with the data like Game Pass's transfer. Yeah, so the The data will transfer over. We actually already wrote that up a little bit, though it needs some debugging. But yeah, no, we have an entire like translation pipeline in the works to transfer your old data. In terms of game passes, because it'll be the same game, we'll be able to detect if you own a game pass. The question is whether that will be something where we maintain that functionality or whether we, just give you a refund. For example, the multiple hairs game pass, that definitely doesn't seem like something which makes sense to keep as a game pass. Does that make sense? So we'll give anyone who owns that game pass will be given a generous refund with in-game currency. Hope which I think is a good way to balance all that. Well, I'm glad to see that they are getting some long needed vengeance on Fox. Yeah, this cup is the biggest coffee cup I own right now. I believe it was gotten for me by a girlfriend I had in college because every time she had an IT issue, she'd come and like just say, "Hey, please help me with this," and then half an hour later I'd be able to get back to work. So fun memory. But yeah, so yeah, well, I mean, if any character is going to break the fourth wall, it'll definitely be Deadpool. Um, but yeah, so let's get some character customization stuff going. Um, let's see. That's good. I know that I really liked the fight scenes and stuff in the first Deadpool movie. The second one I didn't have too many memories of, honestly. I feel like would you say this is close to the first one or the second one? Because I really liked the first one. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, so there's definitely going to be more slots available. Yeah, so yeah, we're working on getting the encoding efficiency to be much higher. So don't worry about that. Hey there, Bloxomatic, welcome back. Okay, so let's start with just the appearance editor. Yeah, okay, so let me open up the, let's see. Is it true that the suit glitch, yeah, the suit glitch is going to be much more customizable. In fact, let's open up okay, so we're going to spend today implementing a lot of the appearance editing stuff. Um, so yeah, okay, we're going to be building this UI mobile first, as well as supporting different layouts. But so here's like the PC setup, mobile setup, all of that. Um, well, I'm glad you could make it, Hugh Jackson. Do I prefer Marvel or DC? That's a hard question because I feel like for the most part, Marvel has a higher average experience, but DC reaches higher peaks and lower valleys. You know, like some of the worst superhero movies of all time, clearly DC. In fact, I dislike the majority of the Snyderverse, I'd say. Like I don't get why people like Aquaman. I don't understand it. It just seems like the most generic, boring movie. I watched it, I didn't enjoy it. The fight scene at the beginning in the house where it did the top-down thing, that was cool. That is all I remember. Or all the positive things I remember. Yeah, I feel like the DC, but I loved the the one made. I love the Suicide Squad remake thing. I love the one which the guy who made Guardians of the Galaxy did. So I am hopeful that DC will do a good job with the reboot. But like, unless it's a Batman film, DC has a pretty bad track record. Um, okay, so let's start with just okay, how do I turn on the emulator? That's the downside of a device. Yay! I did it. Okay, so let's get this going. Do you think DC beats Marvel animation-wise? Definitely. I can't think of a single good. Actually, that's not true. I can think of the Spectacular Spider-Man as a good DC animated thing. No, sorry, a good Marvel animated thing. DC, there are many, many, many good options. But as Spectacular Spider-Man came out, literally when I was a child, and I am now old, Marvel's been dropping the ball with animation. Yeah, I agree with you. I think James Gunn is going to do a really good job. I don't understand why he's getting hate. The Snyderverse people, I don't know, they have some odd taste. Um, yeah, the I haven't watched the Suicide Squad anime, but I probably will. It does look interesting at the very least, and the dance sequence they had at the end with Amanda Waller was very funny. I think that's something that DC doesn't get enough credit for. Having the characters engage in funny dance sequences. Um, yeah, like the opening for Peacemaker was great. That's one of the best openings of all time as far as I'm concerned. Not even just for a superhero movie, like you know, just an amazing way to start a show. Um, but yeah, I do agree, Savage Nature, that cars um, are something that I should add, or vehicles in general. This map isn't super big, so I'm not sure if cars would make a bunch of sense, but vehicles is something that we definitely need to have. Um, Well, I think the problem is Batman's default should be he should not use guns. And if you are going to make Batman use guns, it should be because you're taking the character in a very different direction. Like in the Flash universe where you have Thomas Wayne being Batman and he uses guns. He's supposed to be like this over the top broken almost evil version of Batman that like has no that just kind of like lost the will to be good or something. And then Flash, shows him things could be different. Just like point is, you should not allow Batman to use guns unless you're making a point. And frankly, here's the thing: I don't like Batman versus Superman, the movie. I think it has a lot of flaws, but I think it also had some good ideas. It just didn't do a good job with it. Like having Batman be this kind of paranoid, almost like domestic terrorist or something is interesting. Like I think that was an interesting direction to take the character. I do not think that character should have been used ever in Justice League. That Batman would never be in the Justice League. Never. That is the opposite of what he would do. That Batman will be living in the woods, like attacking people for the rest of his life. He will not be doing team ups and like giving hugs to his friends. It's yeah, so I think they did a bad job with that film, but I think you can have some stuff with the hello. Um, should I be worried, y'all? But let's see. I do think that the DC anime universe doing a, is doing a better job in general. So let's actually look at this from a components level. Let's go and have the UI component, and then we're going to have that be a, will it be measures against exploiters? I will be doing a better job to prevent exploiting, but it's still not an area with where I have a whole bunch of experience. It'll be better than Superhero Life 2 and 3 for sure. There will be less exploiting than in those games. You know, have I watched My Adventures of Superman? I have. I really do like that show. I hope it continues to get, a longer. It's like, it's not like, I don't think it's as like, I don't think it'll hold up for as long as, say, like an Avatar, the animated one, would. But I do think it's very much the rebranding which Superman needed for the next generation. You know? And also, Lois Lane in that show is extremely hot, which is always, that's nice. The, let's see. Where do I put the, where do I put the, I guess, what kind of element should I be making first? I don't know anything about Mr. Terrific, but honestly, I think the new Superman movie is probably going to be good. People were complaining a lot about it for some reason, but as far as I can tell, the costume looks all right. The one promotional image they had of him, like the city burning in the background, him just getting ready, I think that was a little bit of a misstep. But for the most part, like it seems like they're pursuing a Superman who's more of a chill guy, and I think that that's something which they really need to do. Like, as much as I love Henry Cavill as a person, his Superman was kind of distant, guy. He wasn't really interesting. And I think that making Superman a chill dude first is not a bad direction to go. That's one of the reasons why My Adventures with Superman did such a good job, I think. Um, okay, so what are the options here? Okay, so we have these tabs down here. Okay, tab, items, textures. Okay. Okay, so let's just break these down into a few different areas. Okay, so we're going to start by making a, okay, so let's just start with what am I doing right now? Right now, I am making the UI for the character editor. So, for that, I need to decide a few things like how to start. I've made a few different components, which I think look all right, but I just need to choose one to get going. I'm going to go with the tabs, the action bar. Okay, UI action bar. Um, init.luau test.story.luau import story, import header. Okay, we'll just copy this over. Oh yeah, my friend Ryan has made an amazing Cyberpunk game, and we're really excited for him to finish it up and get it officially released. Yeah, no, Henry Cavill seems like a really chill guy. Like he did like a PC build live stream once. Like the guy seems very relatable. It's just the movie they had him in just didn't do a good job conveying that. Oh yeah, so I think that the customization in general, just bid and I guess just bid, is that, I don't know how to pronounce that. Just bid. I am trying to make this as flexible a system as possible. And with that, I've made like the data types very flexible so that we can actually go through and say, if later on we want to have like, different, we're gonna be doing this on a different layer clothing level where, we'll just be adding, it's gonna be kind of like, okay, you know how on Roblox you have like layered clothing, you have textured clothing, you have different body types, you have all that stuff. I think those are some really good ideas, but I think that they don't go far enough with it in some ways. I think that they don't allow you to recolor items. Like you have to buy a whole new item for it to be a different color. And I think that's a missed opportunity. And so we're going to be building off some of that, as well as doing a little bit better of a job maintaining a minimum level of quality for the actual final outfits. And so yeah, the goal though is to make just like the best customization you can on Roblox while not necessarily going against the grain of it. We want to be able to, a dream would be to be able to add in good UGC items with permission from the original creator, and then integrate them into the system, kind of like with the artifacts stuff. But yeah, so that's the dream at least. Um, okay, so trying to remember what options do we have for the. Oh yeah, there definitely will be. I think that the clothing options are going to be super easy to add to the game, which is nice. Okay, so components, menu row. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go with a bottom one. Okay, so synthetic. So let's just start with doing this. Okay, so editor service, UI appearance. There we go. Okay, so action bar. Um, okay, so we're going to have some buttons. Buttons would be state button data. Let's see what's the official data type? So type data. It's like synthetic dot button data. Okay, so we're going to start with that. Um, and then I guess just kind of lead with that. We'll take the clothing. So clothing will we're going to be doing a better job at integrating clothing that wasn't made by me. Some of the items do take more time. For example, I'm still making the layered clothing stuff for like armor pieces, but for the most part, we're not going to try to make our own screws. We're trying to be efficient while also not losing the identity of the original game. But yeah, so I am going to um, there are going to be more ways you can organize your characters. For example, we're going to have different outfits that you can have for a single character rather than force you to remake your entire character every time you want to have them a different look. So that'll be nice. That'll be much needed. Um, so at the end of the day, it's all up to the code. So like I can have do things beyond just layered clothing and textures. Um, but for the most part, I do want, if it when possible, I want to stick with layered clothing and textures and accessories. Because that means that if someone makes a really cool UGC item and they give me permission to add it to the game, we can have those kind of new assets very quickly. Like I can take my job from being both creating art assets to also, to just focusing on making the systems itself. Um, but yeah, So that's the current goal. The goal is for me to just I want to make a good canvas for other people to create on, and that means sort of committing to certain standards like the accessory and layered clothing ones. But yeah, so guess I guess we just return this. Okay, so clean up. Okay, so made give task. Are you currently making or helping to, yeah, so I help out with a non-Roblox game studio called Omni Creator Products. They're making a pretty cool uh, open world kind of procedurally generated UGC game. Um, and I'm also working on, I do analytics for Blocks Fruits. And so I've been enjoying, working with both those companies. Right now, though, neither of them have too much work available for me right now. So I'm just working on Superhero Life too. Yeah, and just, trying to get that in a good place before work picks up again. Oh, sorry to hear that, Squid Stick. That is still functional, though. That's good. Okay, so synthetic dot component menu row tabs new buttons. Oh, I never finished implementing tabs. So I guess bar bottom and then cold fusion, the primary. I'm mostly doing everything. I do collaborate with others on occasion, but not really for Superhero Life stuff as much anymore. Occasionally, I'll get help from my friend Ryan on Superhero Life 4, and but that never really came anywhere. So when Superhero Life 4 does come out, it will technically have been collaborative, but Superhero Life 2 is not that situation. So let's go with, I guess, primary. Okay, so new. Okay, so let's figure out what kind of other stuff needs to be added to this for it to work. Okay. Okay, so let's get over to Studio Service, or sorry, not Studio, Style Service, and add some actual functionality. Is dark mode, color. Okay, so get scheme type, style service, scheme type. Okay, nice. And then, so we'll just start by implementing that. Um, do I play Fortnite? Not really. Will the sun be removed? At night, maybe. We'll see. Has Maui come from Moana to capture the sun? No. Did they do that in the sequel? They made a sequel to that movie, right? Okay. Let's see. At the end of the tech tree, remove the sun. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. I'm glad that that's the stretch goal we're aiming for. Um, so state. Okay. So scheme type. I guess I'll just do this. Platform UX type. Okay. So value. Large. Okay. So just going to go through and break everything now that I actually have to deal with it. All right. What kind of games do I typically play? Um, Usually, I'll jump between stuff like Factorio a lot. I really like those kind of games. Sandbox games like Teardown as well. Those are really fun. So okay, so scheme type. All right, so self dot scheme type is equal to computed is dark. Uh, Style. Why's it yelling at me? What am I doing wrong? Goodness, why is nothing working these days? It's very frustrating. Whatever. I don't know why that's breaking, but it's stupid that it's breaking. Do I plan on joining Superhero 2 when the remake is out? Probably. I mean, I got to play it at some point. I don't think I'll be like the a person who plays it for fun. It's more like my job, you know. But yeah, I'll stop by on occasion. I stop by on occasion now. Um, yeah, I don't usually play too many superhero games or fighting games. My reflexes just aren't that good. Okay, so elevation, font data. Okay, so let's try Let's get font data. Okay, export type. All right, get font data. So let's just actually add that as a thing. Function, style service, get font data. Fonts, synthetic state, font data. Okay, so now it would be nice to just have general, like different modes in general. Hey there, Arkham Noob. Welcome back. Oh wait, it's not noob. It's a different word. Do you plan on joining? Yeah, so let's see the Tom Holland's trilogy. This plays Sandman. Uh, I mean, I don't know too much about the character. Is there any particular reason why it should be Sandman, or is it just kind of like a why not? Let's give him something. Okay, so get value from. Okay, so that's pretty good. What's going on with this one? Why isn't this one? What's this one error? Oh, it's because I have too many parentheses. All right, cool. So that should work all right. I look like Flint Macchio? Really? Oh, the comic version. Okay, well now I'm curious. I do watch a few anime. Not sure how many of them I consider good, but yeah, I do on occasion. Let's see. So Flint Macchio comics. How much of it's just the forehead? Yeah, but I can see it. I can see it. Yeah, the Flint Marco. Okay. All right. The yeah, I'm open to a stripy shirt, you know? I I've always been a little bit more on the button-up side of life, though. Okay. I don't know if I have a top four MCU shows because I've only liked like two. Um, I liked Loki, and I thought WandaVision was okay, and then I gave up. Um, yeah. So beyond that, okay, so get font data. Okay, so let's just make sure that style service is actually set up before we call anything. Oh, whoops! I've been putting this in the wrong place. Okay, so okay. I did really like the first season of Loki, so I might check that out. I just don't like the MCU enough at this point to warrant a a Disney Plus subscription. Second season was a bait and switch. Okay, is it in a good way or a bad way? I guess it's proud. That sounds like it's a bad way. Now they say that out loud. Well, here's the thing. Loki is kind of lame. He's kind of pathetic. You know? Why is my did the LSP get slower or am I just going crazy? What's going on with this? Okay, there we go. So scheme type, transition type, font type, uh, body medium, label medium. Okay, that looks good. Elevation, let's put it at a 1, yes. Soup, you're saying this like a bad thing, and I don't understand why. Like, I enjoy Loki as a character, but I'm also fine with new good characters. Yeah, so like if the show if the show's good, I'm fine if they don't keep like the Tommy Wiseau style scumball. Just Loki's fun, but he's not like the best character ever. He's fun because he's kind of a mess, you know? He's always been pathetic. This is the guy who got beaten up by Hulk as a joke. Like, I don't understand anyone out there who's like, oh, they made him pathetic. It's like that's his whole role. It's like this sort of sniveling idiot who, like, is always getting himself burnt because he's has no self-awareness. Getting some Gamergate vibes from you, honestly, man. The I think that oh, okay. I haven't seen season 2. Do y'all think that because I just heard someone say it was good. So, don't be wrong. I'm totally like I think that you can make bad characters in the MCU. I didn't much care for Captain Marvel that much. But like I didn't mind the character in the first one because I feel like the whole point of season 1 female Loki was that she was also kind of a mess, you know? And so I think that, maybe that wouldn't be necessarily a bad thing. Okay, so let's style service get okay. Why is my computer so slow today? My goodness. Get color. Okay, so isn't that just the MCU in general officially, Sue? We're at a lack for good characters at this point, I feel. Yeah, but here's the thing about the MCU Miss Marvel. She's a fun character, you know? Like, does anybody like who cares if their abilities change? Like, my goodness, this is yeah, it happens a lot. Like, remember it was Let's see, Doctor Strange, was he always able to raise the dead and have a third eye on his forehead? No, no, powers change. This canon's a mess, you know? I just want a good movie. Okay. Like this isn't Game of Thrones, you know? Like we're not too like the canon here was not exactly written like by someone with a big plan, you know? Has anyone seen that new Game of Thrones show, by the way? People seem to say it's good, but like ever since I got so burnt by the end of the previous series, I've just been hard to get back on board of that. But I did like the Game of Thrones TV show, so it's just like, yeah. Up through season 4, I love the Game of Thrones TV show. Then it's just downhill. Yeah, the let's see. Yeah. Um, let's see. Yeah, the penguin needs to be ugly. We can't have like that's a problem with like the Gotham TV show. They made him just some young guy. It's like, no, this guy's obviously just a theater kid. What? This isn't the penguin. Yeah. Yeah, Danny DeVito was excellent casting for the penguin. Though I guess he probably should have been a little bit more aristocrat. I think that's probably the one difference between them. That's the one thing keeping the Danny DeVito performance from being perfect. He needs to be kind of like, a bourgeoisie snob, like he needs to be clearly a rich person, not just some homeless guy who likes penguins. But I definitely think DeVito did a better job than the Gotham casting. Not that that person's a bad actor or anything. I just did not care for the way that all fit together. Yeah. Oh no, be nice to the penguins. Why would they do that? It's not very nice. Hmm. I never saw past the first season of Gotham, so I don't remember too much about Robin. But I feel like one thing I do know about later seasons of Gotham, they made the worst Batman outfit I have ever seen. It's actually embarrassingly bad. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Look up like the Gotham Batman costume. It's embarrassing. Like how did they greenlight that? Ah, it's just ridiculous. Why is this not working? I feel like I'm missing something very obvious. Did the LSP break or something? Really? Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I don't think he's a bad actor or anything. I just feel like it wasn't the Penguin. Like it's kind of like how Jared Leto as the Joker, where it's like it's not that inherently Jared Leto is a bad actor. He's a bad person, but not necessarily a bad actor. Um, but like from like just the implementation level, it was just horribly flawed. You know, like and I guess I feel like that's the case with with the Penguin in Gotham. But it's fine if you don't agree. That's just my take on it. I only watched the first season of the show, so maybe he gets better over time or something. And what I did see though, I didn't care much for it. Yeah, you're not talking to a fan, so if you like it, that's okay. I'm very particular. I inherited this from my dad. I'm very picky about like movies and TV shows at this point. Um, Let's see. I I don't mind. Yeah, I think the Quicksilver in the X-Men future. Honestly, I think the best X-Men was the prequel ones. Like the ones where like they like Days of Future Past and the what's it called? The other one. I think that well actually, but I didn't see the third one or Apocalypse or okay, I take it back. The first two, the only two X-Men movies which I actually liked were the Days of Future Past and the one before that, the New Class or something. I don't remember what it was called. Um, I liked those. Those were good movies. And I liked the Quicksilver scene in that one. That one was great. Um, can we talk about for a second how them casting that guy in WandaVision is the most outrageously frustrating thing ever? Like they knew what they were doing. They knew that that would make us go crazy, and then it just meant nothing. And like, what? Why? Like, screw you. No. That I think that was the moment where I officially started getting off the MCU train. I was just like, this. You're not even trying to make something good at this point. You're just trying to get reactions. Yeah. No, no, I got you. I think that at the end, like honestly, I don't remember that guy's performance that well. I just remember that this guy looks too young and put together to be the Penguin. You know, like it just he doesn't look like the Penguin. Maybe he's doing an amazing job in the role. You can't necessarily change. You can't just make yourself look super old like that, you know. But I don't know. I think Colin Farrell in the Batman movie is probably did a better job. They didn't lean in too much to the Penguin aspect, but they got like the gross rich person part better. Um, I think that yeah, though it's not fair to hold other actors to that guy's standard. Let's see. Um, but yeah, so I think so. Self.colors. I need something. Why is this not working? I'm going crazy. Is there like a second function that's like set to this? I found it. Okay. I was wondering. I was like, something's going wrong here. I said I didn't set the color real tight. Okay, that makes more sense. It's like something's up with this. Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, but he's not like unless we're like okay, he was like upper 20s in Gotham. Like he'd be in his 30s or 40s by the time Batman became a thing, you know? Like that he was too young. What can I say? Like the bat like you if he should have played someone like the Riddler or something, or someone who can be around the same age, you know? Younger, they're not all supposed to be infants or something. Like, you know, I think that he was too young looking. I think that you could, you know, like I don't have any problem with they had that young guy play Joker because Joker is about the same age as Batman, you know? Like that makes sense to me. It's okay to have that guy play Joker. But like the Penguin is explicitly an older person. Like he should have been a lot older. He should have been like he should have been an adult but not old yet. Not like young adult. I don't know. Look, you can disagree with me on it. You're not changing my mind on this. I don't think the guy looked right for the Penguin. Not saying he did the poor job with the role. I'm not saying that you know that you're bad for enjoying it. I just think that he did not fit. That I don't view him in my head as the Penguin. It just doesn't fit. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. They should have hired a Penguin. Yeah. No. Yeah. I think that you know it's good. I think it's actually not right for them to hire a non-penguin to. Play the penguin. But no. The Let's see. What did y'all think of the recent Batman movies take on the Riddler? I think it was very fun. I don't know how I feel about the Joker reveal at the end, though. It didn't feel right. Yeah, the Okay. So how do I fit all of this together? Yeah, so I guess buttons. Okay. So background color. I do like the wingsuit. That's a fun touch. I'm glad they have that. Yeah. I'm genuinely gonna have to update my computer, y'all. It is so slow these days. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, my memory is almost reaching the top. So what I guess I can close Spotify. There's that one. Let's close the others. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Officially Soup. They are very different characters. Um, okay. So yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Okay. Nice. So let's give this a shot. Okay. So how about so made give task give task module frame. Hmm. Why is he yelling at me? Okay. Let's see how that goes. I guess type can be state. Cold fusion state. Okay, buttons. So long as it's appropriate, go for it. Computer's just so slow today. Okay, so now I might have to actually just turn this into a making the making stuff less heavy. Hmm. How long have we been streaming for? An hour? Let's see. Well, let's get a basic menu working, and then we might call it for the day. Okay, so function on click, and then icons, um, import package material icons, icon material icons, two-tone, sharp. Let's see, two-tone DP18. Yeah. Let's see which ones are they using? So they're using outline. Yeah. Okay. So outlined DP18 scale 1. Yeah, that's true. I don't necessarily regret them trying a new thing with them, but I do think that, a lot of times with Batman movies, they're kind of afraid to go all out with to actually do like a legitimate interpretation of the villain. And I do think that in many ways, James Gunn is pretty good at that. James Gunn does a good job at making a ridiculous character feel like they matter. And I think that that's why they're a really good fit for DC. Um, let's see. So how about test? Okay. Now frame dot parent. Okay. Bar is equal to, so bar dot parent is equal to frame. Save. And bar dot size equals 2 dot from scale 1 0. Let's see how this looks. Action bar temp to index nil with display large. Let's check out what's going on there. Okay, so style service, display large, so that's a text thing. So fonts, get font data, 163. Oh wait, I never set up the initial directory. Well, that makes sense. I should probably do that. Okay, let's try that again. All right. Yay. Not sure how I feel about it all being on the left side though. Might end up just being better to make a custom version. Also, where's the text? That didn't get added. Shame. Okay, so let's try this again then. We're going to have a yeah. Okay, so instead we're going to have local equals synthetic dot util dot container cold fusion new, and just going to send this out. Bind background color 3 is equal to style service get color synthetic dot enums dot. I'm just going to start typing in background. Well, how about surface? I'm going to regret this. I'm going to stick with the enums. Background, or no, surface. Hey there, Euros. Good to see you. It's going okay. We're just making some stuff. Yeah, the specifically, I am making this UI element right here. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, so now we can have get color role type surface, border color. Hey there, Raiden. Welcome back. I do. Hey, you've been here before. Yeah, just making some stuff. Yeah, making things, mistakes. Okay, so background transparency is equal to 0, and then the border size pixel. Okay, so now let's add some children. Find synthetic container. No. Okay, so what we're going to do now is button 1, button 2, button 3. Going to be very simple with this. Okay, so let's let's add a synthetic.util.coldfusion.center. Yeah, well, here's the current plan for the editor. The colors themselves will be dynamic, but I'm really focusing on usability right now. I want this to be able to be something easy for people to use, whether they are on mobile, PC, wherever. So that's the main goal right now. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. It's been controversial in the sense that it looks very corporate. And I mean, what can I say? Corporate UI is usable, and my main goal is usability. But yeah, so like I don't think anyone ever played Superhero Life because of the UI, you know? Um, but yeah, so synthetic full fusion center. Uh, what? So I guess local function create button. Let's see. In the state image data. Okay, so create button GUI object. Container is equal to synthetic.util.container.coldfusion.new. Find. Okay, so import button data. Let's import. Where did import not work? Oh, okay. So now, so I think instead of having an advanced mode, I'm rather just going to have layers that you go deeper into. Like the the goal is that like okay, like you can like be able to configure things a little bit more directly if you like right now you can have just adding items and retexturing them, but then like configuring them for like the smaller little things. Um, so yeah, that's the current thinking. Also, I know those icons don't match. Don't worry, that's not the final ones. Um, but yeah, so button equals synthetic dot component dot button dot icon button um, dot let's see. Cold Fusion. Hey there, Chris Terminator. How's it going? Okay. Let's check. Let's make a modification to this. Style service, get color. Let's see, different UI color combos or looks. Oh yeah, yeah. So the UI basically was solved dynamically. Yeah, you can actually see in in the library I made to support it. For example, here is the here's the switch element. So you can actually you like it has built-in dynamic colors. Basically, what I just do is I say dark mode or light mode, and then I just choose a color. And in the examples here, you can see that it solves the shading based on that. So we will be able to have you know, a very dynamic color setup. So that's nice. Um, okay. So I think that in terms of limb editing, like it really just depends on the kind of item. Like you remember, like Superhero Life 3 did do limb specific editing, but believe it or not, Superhero Life 2 didn't. You know, it actually just kind of allowed you to add stuff, and people in general preferred Superhero Life 2's editor. And so I think that limb editing is something we want to maybe support long term. I'm also okay with it just focusing on allowing like, do you really need limb specific editing, or do you just need items that are single limb? You know, like what's the easier way to actually go about it? And so that's the question, I guess. Like my goal is to make this pretty flexible in case, you know, we need to go a different direction. But yeah, um, would there be a way to force change the UI color? Say I want to have a character, I want my UI to be dark. Let's see. So force change the UI. Uh, Maybe, I don't know. It's functionally possible. I just need to figure out if that's something which people actually care about. You'll be able to change light mode versus dark mode, of course, but actually setting a specific UI color might be, I don't know if how much demand there'll be for that. I'd rather just have it be solved dynamically off of what your character's most common color is, you know? Like that seems more of a you know, like more of a good fit. And but I guess light versus dark, that's definitely something you should be able to configure with the day versus night mode. So yeah. Okay, so okay, so what do I do? Okay, yeah, so for e equals 0, 6 do style get color e. All right, get color elevation looks all right. Okay, so yeah, no, no. Instead of getting banned in the game, you'll just have light mode permanently enabled. I agree that the limb editing in Superhero 3 is an upgrade in terms of functionality. I just think that if the main goal is to get y'all as good of a system as possible, as quick as possible, I do think limb specific editing is not one which makes as much sense. If, like, in terms of the layered clothing, like, okay, for example, say that you have a cool piece of armor that, like, that goes like on from one shoulder to like one arm, you know, having it be able to split that into like, so you just have the arm part, you know, I feel like that isn't actually as useful. Like you could subdivide every item into smaller and smaller pieces, but all that does is add complexity. Like we could make the mask customizable to the point where like you could literally do like left eyelid part, you know, like we could have that degree of customization. And I'm not necessarily saying no, but I am saying that this stuff does have sort of a fall off in terms of, you know, adding functionality that takes time away from other stuff, but only gives smaller and smaller improvements to the overall system. And so yeah, I think for now I'm not gonna commit to limb specific stuff, at least not for now. But yeah, it's the current thinking. Okay. Okay, so looks pretty good. On click. Let's see. I just think that having, like, here's the thing. When it comes to coloring things, like, I think that this stuff should be split to a point that is like, I would much rather have retexturing, my more complex retexturing skills, like maybe like just have different color palettes and like be able to swap between those and dynamically alter those. I don't think that like being able to swap out I think that when you have a very simple system, like a Lego minifigure, being able to swap out limbs makes sense. But I don't think that that's how you should be pursuing it when you have something more complex. You know, I think layering is much more valuable to have than limb specific slicing. So I'd much rather be able to layer things. Okay, so on click state, Okay, so let's just import shared. Let's just go into the style service. I'm going to make a new thing called error icon. Just data. Okay, so type. Okay, and then so we're going to have that be dot error icon equals material icons. Will healing factor be nerfed? I mean, it'll be remade from scratch, so it's going to have its own whole set of things, you know? Okay, so now back to this. Um, okay. Well, creative mode is essentially what custom servers will become. So not necessarily against that. It's just, you know. Um, and it's equal to so I think that's all of it. All right, so I think that definitely having like shoulders and knee pads as independent items, that is definitely more workable than like specifically deciding that everything needs to be split along these lines. Um, so yeah, so don't worry too much about that. We should be able to do that. Mhm. Okay. Um, Um, hmm, okay. Hey there, Zayden. Doing all right? How's your day been? Okay. Scheme scale button. Okay. So now let's give this a shot. Okay. So layout order. Order. So let's move this one here. Two. Text color 3. Style service. Rows. Okay. Fit scale. No. X to X alignment. How old am I? I am 26, at least currently. Let's see. So let's add this. What do you do as a job? Make video games. Been making video games since I was 10. And then, when you do that long enough, people start paying you for some reason. I do. Yeah. That's what I'm doing right now. How'd you find the channel? It seems like you don't know too much about me, and most of the people who are here know me from the Roblox stuff. Did you get recommended or something? Let's see. Okay, yeah, right now I'm working on making UI for a game customization system. Gotcha. Okay, well, welcome to the stream. We're just making a Roblox game. Yeah, I'm using yeah, right now focusing on the UI part. We're gonna try to make it work in portrait mode on the mobile. Awesome. Well, this is definitely the right place for that. Okay, so layout order. So 1, 2. Let's also add list. List cold fusion. Um, okay. Why is it yelling at me? There we go. All right, so let's see how this looks. I'm gonna have to just gotta connect this button here and see how everything looks. Captain Price, who's that? Oh, a Call of Duty? I mean, I am indeed a white guy with a beard. I can see it. Let's see it. Fortunately, I've never been too good at a Call of Duty. Okay, let's just see how this looks when rendering. All right, so it seems, okay, we need to make it so that it only renders it if there's a button in there. Oh, well, he is apparently a Call of Duty character, unless there are different Captain Prices. Okay, so how about just do this? Have visible return button data is not equal to nil. Switch this to a Boolean. Okay. In fact, let's put this all the way at this level. That way I can. Yeah, there we go. I mean, to some extent, I have in the past. The thing is, like, I open source a lot of what I make, and I go about, of course, I live stream stuff, and I'm happy to answer questions. But yeah, no, like there's most of the stuff I talk about though from an educational sense is I really like game analytics, like just not the website, but like the actually just like doing data analysis on your game. So I have made a few video series on that. But yeah, yeah, my goal isn't really to become popular though as a streamer. Like right now, the reason I do live streams is because I like, interacting with my community and, getting feedback from them as I make the games they like. It's not really to become some big YouTuber. That's not really an aspiration of mine. I already have more than enough, motivation from just making the game itself. Yeah. Though, yeah, that's what this is. This game that I'm remaking right now was originally, it was released in 2017. Got about almost 200 million plays, and then I didn't really do much with it. And so it kind of fell out of favor over time. And now I'm remaking it because it's half broken now and it could use an upgrade. And so that's been pretty fun. Okay, I'm gonna do a full flex item thing. Okay, so let's see, what are the parameters for this again? Is it all of them? Yep, okay. False, item alignment, center horizontal flex. Oh, it's UI flex alignment, I think. Okay, so fill. Actually, I put this in the wrong spot. There we go. I've gotten to Roblox development myself, and I've got an interesting idea, but I just lack the discipline of doing what I need to focus on. Well, hey, that idea is not going away. I know the I personally, I think the idea has to be, if the idea isn't motivating you, then it's, maybe a better idea for someone else. Not what I'd recommend to anyone who wants to get into game development, just make stuff that you like making. That like the 99% of the people who don't make it as a game developer don't make it not because programming is just some impossibly hard thing, but because the motivation burns out. It takes months of a lot of hard work, and that's where people usually get lost. And so, yeah, make sure that the number one thing you focus on is just that balancing that motivation, making sure that it's sustainable. If you're burning yourself out, project's not going to get finished. And yeah, and if you find a right way to balance it, well, here I am, 16 years later, still making stuff. Okay, so enum UI alignment, vertical alignment. There it is. Okay, so center dot horizontal alignment, center fill direction, uh, horizontal list padding. All right, let's see how this looks. There we go. That's much better. Yeah, yeah. No, it's six. Well, I admittedly I've never been the best at keeping stuff released on time. That's not a it's not a skill I've been known for. But I'm great. I'm great at working on stuff. I'm just not good at releasing it. That's the one downside of pursuing your motivation. When the motivation changes, you just chase to the next project rather than finishing the previous one. But I do occasionally release things, and when I do, it pays for the next few years of chasing other things. I mean, I'm using it right now. I use Copilot. So, like for example, if I wanted to, you know, yeah, print "Hello World." I don't know. It looks like come on, Copilot. I believe you. This is an easy one. Yay! But yeah, no, I do use AI to help with code. But for the most part, like I think AI is a lot more helpful for teaching you how to code. and then for filling in simple things. Like it's almost like an autocomplete, really. And so yeah, definitely yeah, use ChatGPT to help figure out some coding stuff. But we're definitely still a few years away from a game being able to be fully coded with just a bunch of AI prompts. We're not there yet. So you still got to learn to code, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, for the most part, though, if I know what I'm doing, unless it's something very boilerplate heavy, which admittedly Roblox Luau is, it's usually easier to just explain stuff. Could I explain local? So local is the term used in Roblox Lua to uh, define a variable. Um, yeah, it basically describes the scope under which this variable is being accessed. So yeah, in Lua outside of Roblox, there are other scopes, I believe. Like there's like a global one, but in Roblox it just means if you want something to be a variable, you have to put it as local. But yeah, the so let's see. I think why isn't the text showing up? Oh, it's because I'm not actually assigning the text. It's like something's going on here. Okay, let's try that. There we go. Let's actual resolution. Okay. I want the buttons themselves to be bigger though. Hmm. Let's see. Let's see what to do. Maybe instead of using the buttons there, I will make this a button and we'll just rely on that. Okay, so or maybe can I make the buttons themselves bigger? Let's go into that. Okay. The icons themselves look pretty nice though. Okay, so horse cat, preview container, button one. Okay, so how do we get this to be a better fit? So we could turn on automatic scaling. That's already on. So what if we make the size 1? Yeah, but then it doesn't center it. We might just have to go about doing it manually. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like I've had a lot of high quality games that I never released, but the thing about game failure, if your game doesn't matter how hard you worked on it, doesn't matter how good the code is, if the game's not fun, it's going to fail. Whenever a game fails, it's because it's not doing something right. I fully believe that if even no matter how nice your game looks, no matter how cool a specific mechanic is, if people aren't playing it, that means something's going wrong. People will play a fun game. You can't blame the algorithm. You can't blame the players. It's on the developer to make a game that's fun. And I feel like a lot of developers kind of let themselves off the hook on that. So yeah, no, that's why I really like analytics because it helps you narrow down exactly where in a game that shows promise things are getting lost. Because a game can have a cool thing and still fail. Like you can have a really cool mechanic, but if it isn't being used in a way which allows people to have that fun on a regular basis, that won't be able to offset other issues with the game. Yeah, I was a game design major for a few years, and they talked to us a lot about progression loops and core loops and a bunch of stuff like that. And yeah, I promise no game is beyond saving, but not all games are worth saving. If that makes any sense. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna save my work just to before I pivot because I might regret it. Okay, so okay. So let's go back and instead let's take this out. Okay, so we can let's also get this out. Local icon is equal to let's see. Let's see how did these look in terms of that? So they had this kind of spread there. So let's get that look. So made gift task synthetic dot util dot image label dot cold fusion dot new, and then we'll just copy over the logic from the icon, and color will still be the text color, and the transparency just have that be 0. Does streaming help me focus? I wouldn't say it helps me focus more than just working alone, but I think it keeps me sane. It's good for motivation, being able to show off what you've made, and it increases a feeling of community, and I think it's also just good for the players. Like I haven't released a game since 2018 for them, and so they're like 6 years older. Like a lot of the people when they first played my game, they were kids, and now they're in college, and so you know I have some bridges to rebuild. I've I spent I kind after I made that last game, I kind of just spent a few years just trying to really double down on skill sets and like build up my ability to make things. And now I'm using that momentum to actually make something. And community is excited, but it's definitely a process, and I think streaming helps with that. Yeah, but yeah, no, it definitely be very tough to make this entire game on stream. There are sometimes I just gotta like lock in and think through what's going on. But UI, for the most part, is more tedious than um, the difficult, though that has its own difficulty for sure. Okay. Okay, so let's try this. Yeah, no, that was a different time for sure. But people really liked Superhero Life 3 back then. Once it came out, the opinions got a little bit more controversial, but I remember people were very excited for that. I feel like I'm very good at building hype. I'm okay at building games. I just make sure that it looks good in a trailer. Um, but yeah, so I guess events activated, local button data equals button data state get. If b data, then if b data, click, then do that. Okay, yeah, that was easy. And so now let's just add the icon and the text label back in there. Oh, and is the layout order set? Yeah, it is. All right, I think this should be good. Okay, let's see how this looks. Here we are. The icon's not showing up. So that. Okay, so we have the text label, the image label. Hmm. Is it visible or is it just sized a certain way? Fill, fill, size. Uh, why is that not rendering? Oh, is it because the button not rendering? There we go. Okay. Okay, so I need to make some modifications to the button itself. Um, Background transparency is equal to 1. How much does 200 million visits paid? Uh, that game did. I didn't monetize that game super well, but around 200,000, I think, over the years. Um, yeah, no, I mean, like didn't have me living like a king, but it had me earning enough to focus on getting better at actually making games. So it was a nice runway, but for the most part, it's gone at this point. Yeah, I'll get like $100 check once a month now from it. It's like, oh, that's nice. Yeah, and so if you want to stay in game development, you have to keep releasing games. Unfortunately, so I've learned. When do you think Incredibles 3 will come out? I hopefully never because Incredibles 2 sucked. Okay, let's try this. So we have this again. um, just go like 50 on by 50. Okay, so we have that. Scale type, about fit, crop, slice. Slice kind of works, but it's not centered. Yeah, well, I can fix that, right? I don't know. Maybe not. What about my throat is killing me. My goodness. Okay, so rec size is 18 by 18. Oh, like I mean, for the most part, I don't feel too much pressure. Like I've been doing this since I was, pretty young, so it's been a decade of it. And I don't need to. I don't. I appreciate the offer, but I actually do have because this game doesn't earn any money anymore. I do this game as sort of a side hobby, hoping to make it viable again. My full-time job is usually doing game work for as a contract for other companies. For example, I do the analytics for Blocks Fruits. That's a pretty big game. Uh, yeah, they're very nice to work with. So yeah, they cover my bills. Yeah, I'm not. I just want this game to come out because it's important to me, and I want to get back on the saddle, as it were, as doing development on my own projects. But yeah, no, I'm doing all right in terms of career stuff. Beyond that, I'm very lucky. Okay, analytics. I mean, within the realm of an NDA, sure, but I record data in in game, and then I send it out of the game for further processing, like with Python scripts and different dashboards and just helping doing statistically significant and informed approaches to get solid answers on various design questions. Basically, someone will come to me and say, "Hey, why is this happening in my game?" And I say, "Okay, let's find out." And then we set up some analytics, and we'll just the whole idea is to be able to set it up based on these specific questions that they're trying to answer. And so yeah, I've been doing that work. I have started working on the abilities, Jay. Yeah, if you check a few streams back, you can see me mess around with like the flight and combat stuff. In fact, and if you check my Twitter too, that'll also have some demo gifs and videos of me doing cool stuff. So yeah, so that we've started that. Right now I'm focusing on character customization and getting this little menu to show up. I know, very, very exciting stuff. Okay, so size. So let's actually set the size for this. Okay, so size equals computed function and style service dot scale. Scale number UDM2 from offset local icon size. Okay, let's actually add that onto the style service itself so we can reference it later. Okay, so icon size dp. Let's see. Okay, so we have that. Now we should be able to use that here to determine the proper size for the icon. So the different, we will be having different body types, like, typical gender ones, as well as different like strength and like, skinny, just like, we're going to try to have a variety of that. And we've built out the customization to support that kind of stuff. Let's see. Oh, whoops. Okay, so that's looking better. Okay, let's adjust the automatic size as well. Okay, so automatic size X. Then we'll have it fill. Ooh. Let's change that from stretch to fit. Okay. Scale type is enum dot scale type fit, and size is equal to automatic size equals enum dot automatic size dot x. Okay, so let's see how this looks. We're going to have to modify the way we're doing the sampling, the listing of everything. So let's move a copy to this. So center, vertical. See, fill. Let's wait for that to all fill in. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream around now. It's almost dinner time, and yeah, I think it's been a good productive day, but still, there's you know, where do you get the thumbnails, audios, and other stuff? Well, it's a mixture of asset packs, stuff you create by hand, and yeah, I don't usually use AI for assets because it's a bit controversial, and also I know how to make them, so it's not like the end of the world or anything. But yeah, asset packs and handmade for the most part. I'm learning how to use Blender so I can actually make some stuff that looks actually nice. But yeah, I think that'll be about all today. Thank you all for stopping by. I've had a great time talking with you. And yeah, I will see y'all next time. All right. Peace, everybody.